know what I'm doing? I'm driving him straight down the road to like Brighton and be like, yeah, 10 mil, go play for them. There you go, mate. That's what you're doing. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything with this.
I'm not. Do you know what? I'm not even thinking. I'm not even going to give it any thought. I'm not leaving it into my thoughts. We cannot in any way, shape. I mean, Kwanzaa and Gomez is a debate. Konate, there's no debate.
Especially with Frimpong being our right back now. We're gonna need Konate. We're gonna need him.
Right, so I'm defending of Konate with Frimpong, but I actually think they'll make a brilliant.
They will,
guys. I don't want to put I don't want to be a happy, positive, ready, I'm loving the vibes. Already. I can set. Do you guys feel the vibes in this squad already?
Yeah.
I know we need to build up the vibes again. Yeah, we're gonna miss out. A lot of the old boys are gone. The Milners are gone. The Hendersons are gone. The Nabis have gone. Everything. The new crop. I feel vibes.
Good people.
I think Kerkez is a vibey guy. I think Frimpong's a vibey guy.
Frimpong puts a smile on your face, man. You see Frimpong,
what does everyone make of Kerkez's dad doing all this media, so to speak?
So I get the criticism. Before you guys go, right? Very quickly, I get what some sections of the fan base are finding a bit cringy, or I don't know what the word is. But you have to remember, it's all come after Bournemouth have found his replacement. They've signed a player. Yeah. So there's conversations that have been had. And so it's all out in the open from the player and the club that, yes, we're moving and we've pretty much agreed with Liverpool and everything. So I don't think it's as bad as it would be if that wasn't the case, if you know what I mean.
I think I'd only be bothered if I was a Bournemouth fan. Like, why are we bothered as a Liverpool fan? We should be gassed that this sensational left back is literally crying out for Liverpool, saying, yeah, I'm going to be a Liverpool player, even though nothing's been agreed. Although it's been reported that, I think a couple of hours ago that it's been agreed. At the same time, if I was a Bournemouth fan, similarly to what happened to us with Trent, you'd be fuming.
About to say that,
you'd be fuming with Kerkez. You still play for us, you still play for AFC Bournemouth,
But he does now. That's what I mean. I think the conversation's been had. The difference with Trent was the
conversation was had a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Anyway, forget about that. Because we can't say that we haven't been in discussions with him for months as well, to be fair. And actually, why are we bothered if he was to go and announce it himself? Happy days.
Are we bothered? I love it.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun. It's good energy, man. He's gone on the Overlap 2.0, which is hilarious, by the way. Anyone knows how that is the Overlap setup that they've just copied?
Literally, I thought it was the Overlap at first.
I thought it was. Yeah. I thought Paul Scholes had cloned himself or was playing every character like Eddie Murphy did in the Nutty Professor, who's just all sat around the table. But it's class, lad. It's good. The only thing missing was a bottle of Huel. But other than that, it was good. Good on him.
I think if what we read is true and what he said is true, I think the key thing we take out of that is Richard Hughes' involvement and how much we've actually underestimated him. Perhaps, because his father spoke very highly of him. He said, look, Richard Hughes, if he told us to go to go anywhere, we'll go. So I think maybe this is, a start of seeing out the fruits of his labor and his network and his skills as well. So yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned Richard Hughes, to be honest, because last summer obviously we only signed Kesa, but there were lots of reports about how Richard Hughes has conducted himself with all these massive across the world and how he's negotiated with different agents across the world. And maybe going back to the Robertson chat quickly, the links with Atletico Madrid, could this be a power play? I'm just putting it out there. Could this be a power play for a striker that could really revolutionize this football club for us? Literally be our striker for the next 7-8 years in Julian Alvarez. You never know. If we're you never know, we're building that relationship with Atletico Madrid. We might sell Robertson to Atletico Madrid on a cut price deal instead of selling them for 20 million. We're just going to want for 10 million from Atletico Madrid, and that makes negotiations maybe easier in the future if we want to go for Julian Alvarez.
Proper 5D chess you're playing there.
So I don't want to ruin the.
I can tell you for a fact, and it's very. Some people might find it cringy when someone says I can tell you for a fact because you don't know for a fact, but the interest in Alvarez is huge and it's real. But I just don't see him leaving Spain, man. That's the only problem. I can even imagine us paying the money and everything else. And I agree with you, Mo. He's magnificent. He's brilliant. I love Alvarez. I just, it's one of those ones like Isak. It's like, just, why is it always us that choose the most complicated and the most difficult deals? Why always us, man, that find ourselves in these dilemmas?
The scary thing is, they're the two, in my opinion, for a striker, they're the only two options. Apart from them, I'm not convinced in anyone else.
I agree. I'm not moved on the Ekitike too much. I think there's a good player in there, but I don't want us to. I don't want us to sign the project striker. I feel like we need to move on.
Let's finish the last segment of the show. Right, we've talked about the defensive cover and everything else. We know all eyes now are on probably sales, right, and then see if we can bring in a striker. And we know now, if we didn't, that Isak is our number one target choice, whatever. Is there a possibility of that happening? Let's be realistic. Let's not be deluded and doolally, right? Let's try to assess all the situation. And if it is, then okay. If it ain't, do we go for our backup option, which is seemingly at this stage, Alvarez is, I believe, number 2, but it's not going to happen. So Ekitike is our number 3 option, seemingly. Do we go for number 3 option, or do we keep our powder dry and then wait, like we did with Virgil, like Naby, like Alisson, like everything else? We wait, and we wait for our number 1 target. Because realistically, Newcastle will want 1 season with him in the Champions League. One by one, we finish on this topic.
I mean, I think you can't. Look, I know as much about the behind-the-scenes workings of this as Stevie Wonder does the colour of the sky. I think if you're talking about like Alexander Isak and who he is as a player, you can't deny that he's ambitious. We've seen that with Newcastle. For Liverpool this summer, we've shown that we are going full pelt and we are not going anywhere next season. We've laid it on the table and said, it doesn't matter who you sign, who you go for, we are going to be sticking around next season for number 21, number 7, number 11. The sky's the limit. There's no guarantee in a year's time, like if we wait off like we did with Van Dijk, like we've done with other targets in the past, that another club doesn't come in and snap up Isak. Who's to say that he doesn't have an awful season and he's actually cheaper and another club comes in and swoops in? Who's to say that he doesn't have a phenomenal season? Newcastle get Champions League football again, win another trophy, and suddenly he's thinking, ooh, I'm not too sure. You've got to strike now while the iron's hot. We are wanting to, we want to staple ourselves as the greatest club in Europe next season. If you want to do that, you have to sign the best. And signing an Ekitike, like Mike perfectly said, who's a long-term project, might pay off in a few years. It's not going to pay off for now. Alexander Isak, Julian Alvarez will pay off for now. And I just think you have to really, really go for these big targets if we're wanting to really cement ourselves at the top of the Premier League for another season.
Who's next?
I'll go. I think the only way, and I'm just being realistic from my perspective, the only way Isak's going to happen is if he hands in a transfer request. I just can't see it happening any other way. And answering your early question, yes, I think we would wait. You know, if it means if we can't get him this year, if he doesn't hand in a transfer request, I don't reckon we'll get him this summer. I think we'll wait and gamble on the fact that Newcastle probably won't get Champions League, or try and get the price lower next season. A stopgap, maybe. Try and pick up a loan striker. Ramos from PSG, maybe, someone like that. But I just think we'll wait as long as we don't sell Diaz, because Diaz then can play the false 9 if we need to. Like, I mean, if we sell Diaz and Nunes, then I think we need a striker, definitely.
I'm not really on board with the waiting thing, to be honest with you.
Oh, I'm not on board with it. I just think we've done it before with Van Dijk and other players.
We've definitely done it before, but I think striker is a very important position. And personally, I don't really want to see Diaz as our false 9 or 9 again for another season. Yeah. There is a potential possibility that Wirtz could be that false 9, and I don't think we'll have enough time to talk about Wirtz, even though I really wanted to talk about Wirtz. Yeah. You know, I'm still in shock that we're signing them, but we can save that for another day.
Exactly. Once it's officially, well, we know it's pretty much it's done, but we can talk about that. But I wanted to
existence months ago. Don't forget that. spoke it into existence. But yeah, with it, honestly, I don't think anybody really knows where he's going to play definitively. No. So if we're not going to get either Julian Alvarez or Isak, there is a potential that he could be that false nine. I would rather do that, honestly, and yeah, wait for next season and then buy. Like,
you're not convinced. So you're not convinced on anyone else.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm not convinced in Ekitike, as Mike perfectly put. It's a project. It's a long-term project, and we need to win next season. I want us to go for number 21. I want us to go to number 7. I want to be in Budapest next May, for the Champions League final. And personally, I don't think Ekitike is going to be that striker for us to take us over the line. That's just my personal opinion. If it has to be Isak or Julian Alvarez, I think they're the best 2 strikers on the market right now as we speak. If we can't get them, I don't want to get a little stopgap signing or a player on loan that can just play striker for a little bit. Continue with Jota, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, because I don't think we will sell him anyway. Just keep him in the squad. But it's difficult. Honestly, just go out and get one of the 2. Simple as that.
What about Osimhen?
Yeah.
Nah.
Listen, the thing with Osimhen, just right off the bat, because I've seen someone in the chat put it there, he wants 300k a week. Where I don't see us bringing in a forward that's not prem proven and giving him 300k a week. That's the straightforward of it there. Now, you do have the thing with Nunes supposedly being linked to Napoli. Is there something in that we could use to our advantage to bring the fee down, maybe make it a bit more feasible financially? I don't know. But overall, for me, I'm very similar to Scousemo. It's Isak or bust in a sense, but I don't want to close my mind off and say if Liverpool get linked to another striker that I haven't thought of yet, then I'm going to go no. Because what we need basically guaranteed next season from whoever on 9 is 15 Premier League goals, which isn't actually too big an ask when you think about what is around them. The sales pitch from Liverpool is probably the best pitch you can put to a striker now. Behind you, you've got 2 of the most exciting fullbacks in the world. You've got the most exciting 10 in the world. You've got a Ballon d'Or nominee on the right, and you've got Flair coming from the left, whether it's Gakpo or Diaz. You've got an Argentinian World Cup winner, McAllister, as well in midfield, and you have Dutch young player of the season, Gravenberch, in that midfield. You also have Van Dijk. You also have the best keeper in the world. There is mass appeal just off the players you can play with alone. So I'm not worried necessarily about the pitch. When you look at who's on the market, it is dwindling. I've got to be honest. I've said this before. I didn't want him necessarily as a starter, but I like the look of a Liam Delap to come in place of Jota. You have a fully fit backup 9. I think that would be almost as important as getting a proper 9. Jota's fitness is now getting to the point that's affecting the game that he plays now when he is actually fit. So I really have lost quite a bit of faith in Jota, because even though he's one of my favourite players at a point. You think Nunes moves on, so then I don't really count Jota. I count Jota in the same way I count Thiago. He's a luxury player. If he's around, great. If he's not, I'm not going to think about him. So then we have no striker if Nunes goes. Yeah. Chiesa's going. Nunes is going. That's 2 slots in your forward lot. Go sign. If you can't sign an Isak and you can't sign an Alvarez, make sure you go sign a Wissa, Ollie Watkins, Liam Delap type of forward where they're just dependable. I'm not asking, as I say, I'm not saying they should be the starter, but you go and find someone who can just be dependable.
How much do you think Wissa would command?
I don't think this is going to cost as much as people are making out. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's got 2 years left on his contract. I think Brentford financially might need a bit of cash coming in. Yeah, I know they've got Mbeumo going for 60. You probably think this is worth under that. You probably get Wissa, 26 years old, 20 goals last season for what, 40 mil? It's not bad.
What about
the thing I'm finding with all of your guys' responses and opinions is, like, where's the trust and faith in the process gone, lads? So if you're all saying Isak or bust, why not go for our second, third options? Because in the past, let me remind you, in the past, our second and third options have ended up legends of this club, boys.
I hear it.
Well, Grizz, throw the question back at yourself. Answer it yourself. Let's say we don't get 1 or 2. Who's the one you want?
Ekitike has grown on me. Because I want Ekitike. I tell you why.
I hear that.
Ekitike is, in my opinion, again, and I haven't done that much research on him, but I am doing more and more as the links get stronger and stronger. Ekitike reminds me of Isak at Real Sociedad just before his breakout season. Now, Ekitike has only had one brilliant season in 3 or 4 since he's been on the scene. Obviously, he had a great time at Reims, which then PSG thought they could take advantage of. PSG, he didn't flourish at PSG, but PSG, we know, bloody hell, they went through a bit of a transition situation, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And now he's gone and rebuilt his career. Are we saying give him one more season before we take that plunge? And if so,
the price, isn't it? Because like I agree that he'd be a good one, but like right now they're demanding 100 million euros.
No.
I wouldn't go anywhere near that price.
I think they sell at 60. I think push comes to shove, they may sell at 60. Would you do it for 60?
Absolutely. See, that's the difference for me. I would absolutely do it at 60. My biggest put off with him is I do not want to spend 80 million on a unproven forward. 60 in today's market for a 22-year-old that you can mold, I'm fine with. I do not want him to be touching an 80 million.
We did that with Nunez, and we're in the position now where 2-3 years down the line, we're wanting to get rid of him and bring someone else in. If you do that for Ekitike, it could work out perfectly. But 60 million is a far more reasonable price to be paying for someone who's unproven than 80 million.
But guys, it's important that we get this striker position right this time, because if we do get Ekitike and then he turns out to be like Nunez, and then we're looking for a new striker now again, and we're looking to spend 100+ million on the new Isak or the new Alvarez. We don't want to be in that position. Like, unfortunately, the Nunez failure, that transfer was a huge failure because it was replacing Bobby Firmino, and obviously that's very difficult to do in the first place. But we replaced him with Nunez, completely different profile to like what we had in terms of Firmino. And I really do feel like that Nunez signing, it's quite obvious, it set us back, obviously, as we can see right now, 3 years in terms of the striker position. So that's what I'm saying. We really, really need to make sure we get somebody who's a proven quality, who's ready to set the ground alight from the first minute. And the only 2 players that I can think of that can do that for us is Julian Alvarez or Alexander Isak.
I do think it's something to note that Newcastle have signed João Pedro for 60 mil.
That's another thing, yeah.
That's like you look. I don't know.
That's more to replace Callum Wilson, I'd say.
But Grizz, I'm an eternal optimist, and I will mend any bit of information towards my own gain. So unfortunately,
I don't think João Pedro's going to go to Newcastle to just hold bench.
Yeah, he's going to be a starter. He's going to start.
But where does he start? Because he's not. What can he play? 10?
I think their future planning is Isak's departure, and rival fans are just going to have a head loss when we sign 2 marquee players in one window. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I love this. Look at the eternal optimism in the Red Room. By the way, my God, I love that.
Just watching rival fans' heads drop off because we spent 100 million is great.
Hey, Welshie, when we sign Ollie Watkins in August, yeah, man, I can't wait.
That's fine. The heads will still drop off then, like, you know.
I guess it's the best way to finish on optimism and upbeatness, because that's where we are as Liverpool fans right now. But ladies and gentlemen in the chat and lads in the Red Room, I think that is the first Red Room in the can, as they say, and I've enjoyed it. Hope you guys have as well. People in the chat, great support. We had overall on all the platforms close to 1,500 people watching the first.
Smash the like button, people.
Smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Go and check out the guys on their socials. They all chat good stuff. And enjoy the rest of your weeks. It's been tremendous. I've really enjoyed it. Time's flown by. And we will discuss. We've got like Mo said, like Scouts Mo said, we've got so many things that we didn't even have time to discuss here. This is how manic and mad Liverpool Football Club is right now. So much to talk about. Not enough time to do it. But we will make time. We'll make time. That's what the Red Room is about. The Red Room will be about opinions, controversial takes, stupid takes, deluded takes, and we will call people out for their deluded takes.
And that's all from Lewis. So that's, you know, and then
that's just Lewis. Imagine
I might not know tactics, but listen, I can insult with the best.
We're gonna love you and leave you. This has been the Red Room. Thank you for your support once again. Over and out. Take care. Peace, love, and tranquility to all. Bye-bye.